Yo! Before I get into this video, y'all, we'll talk about that Kanye West foolishness that's going on. Alright, baby boy. We'll talk about that Kanye West foolishness that's going on. Which you know what I mean? I don't got no dog in the fight. I ain't got no dog in the fight in that one, but since everybody else putting their little input on it. Only thing I can say is two words. Freedom of speech. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say. Freedom of speech. Constitutional right of freedom of speech. Do I think it's right what he said about George Floyd? Hell nah. Do I think it's right what Charleston White said about T.I.'s son? He gonna treat him like George Zimmerman? Was that right? So I guess T.I. should be suing Charleston White by saying he would do his son the same way George Zimmerman did our lost brother Trayvon Martin. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, two words, freedom of speech. As long as you don't commit the crime, you're allowed to say what you want to say in America. That's what I was told on the constitutional rights. That America has freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? But it looks like they're trying to take our right of freedom of speech. You heard? Because people say nasty stuff out their mouth every day. Do they give you the right to sue that person? You know what I'm saying? Let's travel back in time, y'all. Let's travel back in time. Should we be suing the Europeans for racially slurring us with the N-word? No, because now we call our own self the N-word. You see what I'm saying? We call our own self the N-word. But if we travel in time to where they was terrorizing the African American race by calling them the N-word, monkeys and all that, should we be suing them? Should we be getting reparations from that? You know what I'm saying? Or colonizers and shit like that? Should we be suing our colonizers? And it goes back to who taught us these words? Who taught us the English language? Was we speaking English language in Africa when we was colonized? Questions need to be asked. Was we using the English language when we was colonized? Okay. I'll wait for the answer. Bet you I won't get no answer.
You all up for me?
I bet you I won't get no answer. They say, "Oh, get over it. That was in the past." Our history is our past is the future. You heard? How did we learn how to walk in the past? How did we learn how to speak in the past? So don't tell me to get over the past, because if I get over the past, then I might as well don't walk. I might as well don't eat. I might as well don't talk. Yeah, let's get into it. Get over it. That was in the past. Everything that's based on the future, it has to do with the past. And that's a fact. So don't tell me to get over my past history. When you know your history, you know where you're going at. It's for those who don't know their history that's very ignorant to the fact of self. They have no knowledge of self. You have to know your history to know where you're going at. And when you see these situations, you can deal with them when they confront you. So I would never get over my past. You heard? But anyway, like I said, back to Koonye West. Do I think that was right what he said about the brother George Floyd? Nah, that wasn't right. But America has freedom of press, freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? And with the right lawyers to drill the constitutional rights in court, you can say what you want to say. You heard? As long as you ain't threatening nobody or nothing like that, you should be able to say what you want to say. See, here it is again. They're trying to take our constitutional rights from us. And I need for y'all to pay attention. This is another way to try to get back at taking our constitutional rights to speak. Now we can say what we want to say. Do I think that was right what Charleston White said about T.I.'s son? He'd treat him like, what's his name? The same brother that killed Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. Should he be sued? Should T.I. be putting charges on him? Nah, they won't. They're gonna overlook that. They targeting, as we can see, they targeting Koonye West. And I ain't here to defend Koonye West, because Koonye West put his own self in that predicament. You heard? Koonye West put his own self in that predicament. But I will agree with him on freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? I will agree with him on that. You heard? I'm glad I just seen that. Yeah, my son was telling me yesterday, he go to STEM Academy, man. Do I agree what they had going on yesterday at STEM Academy? Do I agree with that? Or maybe a lot of these school districts and schools, and I want to do the parents, because if y'all in y'all kids' life, and y'all communicate with y'all kids, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about and where I'm going at with it. He was telling me yesterday that they told the kids that they can dress, the boys can dress like females and the girls can dress like boys. Where the fuck they do that at, y'all? Do I agree with that shit? Hell no, I don't agree with that shit. Teaching kids they can dress, boys can dress like girls and come to school with skirts on, and girls can dress like boys with their pants hanging off their ass. Do I agree with that? Hell no. And I know a whole lot of parents, if you're in your kid's life and you communicate with your kids, they might have told you the same thing what was going on in these schools yesterday. And this was at STEM Academy. You know what I mean? Nah, won't be teaching my son, even though my son already know, because I teach him to be a king, a man first. So hell no, I won't agree with having my son come to school and dress like a goddamn female, wearing a goddamn skirt. See what they promoting in these schools, y'all? See what they promoting all over with these goddamn democratic grand cities? They promoting foolishness, y'all. They promoting 100% foolishness. Telling kids they can come dress in the opposite sex that they are. Come on, man. I wonder who came up with that one. He got to be a queer, whoever came up with that idea for the kid. And then you wondering why half these kids running around confused, don't know what sex they are, because it's being programmed in these schools. They talked about that. I forgot who spoke on that. I think it was going on in Jersey. They teaching that transgender shit over Jersey. But y'all trying to promote that shit in all the school districts, and I highly disagree with that shit. I highly disagree with that shit. So I need my parents out there to communicate with y'all kids, man, because y'all don't know what they teaching y'all kids in school. They teaching them a bunch of foolishness on one hand, and on the other hand, they ain't even teaching them kids their correct goddamn history of who they are. Because if you know who you are, you won't get caught up in that foolishness. You heard? And that's a fact. That's a 100% fact. Teaching that bullshit to them kids in school. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Cold. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain.
What I got for you?
You know what? A half a dozen. How much is a half a dozen?
$8.50.
$8.50. Ooh, that's a little steep. I ain't bring that much with me today. Can I have how much are the donuts a piece?
$1.50.
$1.50. Let me get 2 glazed. Good morning. And can I have 2 of these chocolates right here?
Yeah, they're yesterday's, so they're half price.
Oh, nah, that's okay. That's all right. That's okay.
I only have chocolate sticks left today. I got a chocolate cake with vanilla icing.
That'll work. Yes.
We have the chocolate all together. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, 3 donuts is $4.50. No. Yeah.
2. That's 2 in 1, right?
Yeah, three of them, right? Oh no, it came up weird.
Thank you. Have a good one, all right?
Have a better one.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning, how you doing, fam? Your son go to Chester High? Any of these schools in Chester? Do any of your kids go in any of these schools in Chester? Okay. I was going to ask the question to him, see how he feel about that.
Caution, bus is turning.
I know that most definitely went over in STEM Academy, that they was letting them kids dress in the opposite sex of what they are. You heard? Ain't nothing going on over here, y'all. yeah, y'all, that's what I wanted to most definitely come talk to y'all about this morning. I disagree with that shit. So parents, I need y'all under the sound of my voice to be in your kids' life. So your kids and let y'all know what they teaching them in schools, y'all. They teaching them that bullshit, y'all. They teaching them that bullshit, y'all. And like I said, you know what I mean? They teaching them that LBGT bullshit in school, but they ain't teaching them their real history. Let them know who they are, you know what I'm saying? They rather teach them a bunch of queer shit than teach them who they are and where they come from. Because if you know your history, you most definitely know where you're going at. You understand me? So don't let nobody tell you that that was in the past. And they bringing you the future of being a queer. Nah, hell with that shit. Hell with that shit, y'all. And that's a fact. And that's a 100% fact. But we're going to get into this video. With Francis Quest Welsing this morning. Genetic warfare, see?
Our scholar, our teacher, our doctor, our sister, our elder, and our mama, Dr. Francis Quest Welsing.
Give it up for Dr. Francis Quest Welsing, y'all, this morning. Genetic warfare. And that's what's going on in these schools right now, y'all. We promoting that bullshit, y'all, to these kids. Teach them their real history. Teaching them that they come from greatness. Now you teaching them the queer shit. In my dictionary, and I got a son, and I got a daughter. I won't teach them that queer shit.
Thank you
Hell
very,
with that.
very, very much.
Teach them they come from kings and queens. That's where they
Can
come
you hear
from.
me?
And that's a fact.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Speak your speech, Queen.
I am honored to have been invited to join you this evening to talk about ourselves as black people and to talk about the issues that we are facing. I decided to entitle my remarks "The Noose, the Swastika, and the Burning Cross." The noose, the swastika, and the burning cross. I have been talking about racism, white supremacy for the last, I hate to say it, 37 years. And it has been interesting to me because many people, many of my colleagues in psychiatry have said racism was a part of the past. And black people do not have to talk about racism anymore. And why is that Dr. Francis Welsing continuing to beat on the drum about racism, white supremacy?
They'll teach your kids to be a queer in school.
Even though
Instead of teaching them about their real
an
history.
evil and an injustice to see hanging nooses, I'm glad that they are appearing, because it is an opportunity for us to get oriented. You see, those of us who were hoping that the problem had disappeared. You see, but if a problem is not solved, it continues to resurface. Do you see? So we are not only seeing Jenna, Louisiana, we are also seeing nooses being hung everywhere. And we are also seeing an individual who recently won the Nobel Prize, James Watson, you see, of great scientific fame, come out and openly state that black people are genetically inferior in terms of intelligence compared to white people. And I'm happy about that. You see, now when he was confronted, he said he didn't know why those words came out of his mouth. I need to invite him to my office. Because it wasn't long ago, although it's been decades ago, that I debated another Nobel Prize laureate, Dr. William Shockley, the person who won the Nobel Prize for inventing the transistor. And he was going around in the 1970s talking about black people were genetically inferior compared to white people. But I had written a paper that I presented in 1970 at the National Medical Association, because then some of my colleagues were talking about racism. And I had written a paper talking about why do people who classify themselves as white have to demean and degrade black people's genetics. And that paper was entitled The Crest Theory of Color Confrontation and Racism, White Supremacy. And in that paper, I talked about the fact that when people who classify themselves as white keep saying something is wrong with black people's genetics, see, three of their fingers are pointing back at themselves. And I didn't invent any genetics. I just simply thought about the things that I had been taught in their institutions and in medical school. That the inability to produce skin pigmentation is defined not by Francis Wellson,
It's cold out here this morning.
but by their own scientists
See my battery drop down to 2.
recessive trait and a genetic deficiency. A genetic deficiency. And it is albinism. Albinism. Meaning the cells in everybody's skin that are called melanocytes, that are charged with the production of melanin pigment, the black pigment. If you have a lot of melanin, you're crystal black, a little bit less you look brown, a little bit less you look red, a little bit less you look yellow, and white is almost none at all. Now they had defined albinism as a genetic deficiency state when they were talking about mice and rats and other forms of life. They never thought that some black person would come along and say, if the majority of the people on the planet have pigmented skins, then as far as human beings are concerned, white skin is albinism. Do you follow what I'm saying? See, in other words, they were busy saying something is wrong with you, when in reality there was something wrong with them.
All stayed over there.
And I explained that this is the reason that they suntan.
All stayed trucking over there.
You see, trying to create color. And I'm updating it and saying now that this is the reason that so many of them are trying to cover their bodies with tattoos. See, now we need to think about that, because sometimes monkey see, monkey do. And we don't understand why. See, it's like if they do something, we think we have to do something.
Practicing that backing.
People think that they have to get in the sun.
That's very important in trucking, y'all. Backing.
See, but we have been blessed by the Creator with color. And indeed, and in fact, the Creator made us, the chosen people, in that we are the mothers and fathers of everybody on this planet. You see, and as the original people, we were crystal black people. The color that we have been taught to hate under racism, white supremacy. You see, but this not only explained the sun tanning and maybe now the tattooing, but I said this is the core of racism. And this is why racism contains within it, it's dynamic, the need to destroy black people in general, but black men in particular. You see, and we are seeing that with the high level of incarceration of black men, with the dropping out of school, and the high levels of unemployment.
Homosexuality.
And that goes back to the fact that black men are perceived as the persons who can cause white genetic annihilation. Now, as a female, women, we have ovaries, and in our ovaries we have the genetic material. But women cannot impose and force sexual intercourse. Shall I say that again? See, females, we can try to entice and influence. But if a female, if I reached in my purse and pulled out an Uzi, and I started to threaten a man and say, I don't care if your wife is here, you are going to have sexual intercourse, and I frightened him, he wouldn't be able to. See, because the erection disappears in the presence of fear. So women cannot impose sexual intercourse. And so the white collective, from the time that Christopher Columbus came out of Spain in his little boats and started the white people circumnavigating the globe, they began to realize, wait a minute, all these other people on the planet are people of color. And the men, just like the fondling fathers. Did you hear the term? See, black people, we don't need to say founding fathers. We need to talk about the fondling fathers, the Thomas Jeffersons, the George Washingtons, and all of those slaveholders who were raping and taking sexual advantage of black women. They found out that by sexually relating, their white color would disappear. And they began to understand, wait a minute.
And I posted the video, I'm going to get right back. I posted the video about the Tasmanian people was wiped out. That whole race of Tasmanians was wiped out by Europeans, the British. But yet, when Elizabeth passed away this year, all those Africans was crying over Elizabeth passing away. I don't call her a queen because she the fake queen. She ain't the original queen. The original queen came up out of ancient Kemet, better known to y'all as Egypt. That was where the original queen came from. That old fake Elizabeth passed away, and the British, Europeans wiped out a whole race of the Tasmanian people. And y'all did do the research. I dropped the video on it. They wiped